I came here to have a productive conversation, and usually when I encounter someone in my field, they are also looking to have a productive conversation.
Good evening, everybody. I saw this and I thought it would make an interesting character study, not because of any complexity, but because of its commonality. A good rule of thumb is, if motivation strikes you, do it now. Like, if you suddenly feel like going for a walk, do it now, this very second. Not in 5 minutes, because in 5 minutes' time you might not feel like doing it anymore. And if you feel like making a video about something you just came across, do it within a week or so. If something better comes up in the meantime, do that instead. But you might as well queue up that character study that struck you as an interesting project last week. Work ethic is like money. I don't have it. All right, let's crack on.
Deport all illegals. Change my mind.
Agreed. By the way, I think there should be consequences for crimes, especially when those crimes, to some extent, can be undone. If property is stolen, the consequences, wherever possible, should include that property being returned. I don't know how anyone would argue against this, unless they sincerely believe all property is theft. If they do, you'll soon discover how quickly you can change their minds if and when you steal their property. I could steal your glasses and that would leave you blind. I could steal your clothes and that would leave you naked. I could steal your house and that would leave you homeless. I could steal your country, and apparently that's when it no longer counts as stealing. Go figure yourself.
Okay.
What's your name, by the way?
My name is Savannah.
Savannah. Nice to meet you, Savannah. Let me ask you, how familiar are you, if at all, with kind of this installment, this series?
Not at all, actually.
Okay.
I didn't know that you would be here today until I saw the signs around campus, and then, yeah,
Okay.
I think one of my friends Googled you and found out that you were 38, but that's it.
You might wonder what Stephen Crowder's age has to do with the question that was asked, or the nature of the format, or of the Change My Mind series, or this installment of it. And that, friend, is because you don't think like a social worker. In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
It's not gotcha, scoring points, dunking, clips, which I know we see a lot online. This was actually created about a decade ago to be sort of the anti-cable news, where people can actually have conversations that you don't see in media, where hopefully they're done in good faith, and it's, of course, used in its entire context. We never edit it out of context.
I, of course, will be editing it, partially because I don't wish to steal Stephen's content in its entirety. I hope to encourage you to follow the link below and watch it in its completion. And it's partially because I'm here to carefully highlight what Stephen means by gotchas and scoring points. There's an awful lot of foreshadowing going on in these first few seconds.
Do you believe that we should deport illegal aliens?
I think it's a very situational occurrence.
Okay.
I find myself disagreeing with the mass deportations that are happening, which is why I wanted to come here today and ask you what your definition of illegal is and who fits that criteria.
Someone who's come to this country illegally.
Notice that Mr. Crowder answered the question. He did not struggle to answer it on account of it being a rather redundant question.
Anyone.
So anyone who doesn't have paperwork.
Yeah, anyone who's in this country illegally, who committed the crime, the misdemeanor of coming to this country illegally, or visa overstays, which make up a percentage that, yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I don't think that that's one of those scenarios where it's gray. You're either a legal citizen or you're not.
Yes, see, the matter of legality is not defined by the individual, it's defined by the law. We can argue all day about what something means to each individual. Indeed, morality, for instance, and what it entails, is very much up in the air of subjectivity. But when it comes to illegal, we can in fact defer to that which is already agreed upon. Morality exists beyond documents, but legality exists specifically within them. And the answer to the question, what is illegal, does exist specifically within those documents. We can argue about what ought to be illegal, but it is not up for debate what presently is. Again, we can ask what it means to steal, and that is a good question, a good philosophical question, one which the dictionary cannot answer by itself, because the dictionary is merely a series of descriptive documents. We can ask, what do you mean illegal? But that is an ignorant question, because the law is a series of prescriptive documents. It is a question that has already been answered, albeit usually in rather esoteric legalese. It's like asking what your doctor means by this prescription. Sure enough, it can be very difficult to read the doctor's handwriting. But if you ask them what it means and they tell you it says ivermectin, then it doesn't matter if you wax lyrical over whether it's a Nobel Prize-winning medicine for humans or a paste for deworming horses. It's the same fucking molecule. I'm not a real doctor, none of this is medical advice, and I'm not a lawyer, none of this is legal advice. I'm simply what you might call a midwit whisperer. I know how to unravel their nonsense because I'm one of them. I know how their squirrely spaghetti brains work, and I'm ready and willing to bridge that gap across the IQ bell curve and explain what's getting deliberately lost in translation. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm so dangerous.
Which ones would you support deporting? I guess would be my question to you. And then how should we do that?
Well, the question really comes back to how we go about deporting necessarily.
No, do we deport them and how do we deport them are different but similarly facile questions. The first answer is yes. The second answer is by plane or by boat or whatever. It's not all that important once we've answered the first question, which we don't need to ask on account of the law already answered it. The only good question here is why isn't the government enforcing the law in a system of fewer than 2 tiers?
Well, I was raised by Southern people.
Okay.
So we think that, what's it called? You know that you've come to a good conclusion when both parties feel like they're being screwed over?
Yeah, compromise is when no one's happy,
Yes.
something like that. That's how we say it in the Northeast, but same thing, yeah.
Neither of you speak for the North or the South. I hope you both know that. Just like neither of you speaks for everyone, as and when it seems like everyone disagrees with you. That doesn't make sense intuitively or counterintuitively or anything in between. I would remind you all once again that you exist in a spectrum. There will always be people who disagree with you in both directions, indeed in every direction, as can be demonstrated by the comments on any given YouTube video. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're the sensible center of the universe. It's an interesting cosmological metaphor. Given the accelerating expansion of universal space-time, any given point in the universe looks like it's the center because almost everything in the universe is being redshifted away from every other point. It means nothing. It doesn't prove anything regarding where the center is. What we can say, for instance, is that the Andromeda Galaxy is blue shifting towards us. And that means the Andromeda Galaxy is going to collide with our galaxy in the next few billion years. What do we do about this? I suppose we anticipate the possibility that any alien civilizations in the Andromeda Galaxy might finally be within spitting distance, and we should prepare accordingly. There's a small chance that 2 supermassive black holes will collide and a whole bunch of solar systems will get sucked into it, and others will get flung out into deep space. But we probably don't need to worry about it, since we live in a comfortable suburb between the 2 extremes. Despite the parables, this is where the metaphor breaks down, because galactic collisions within superclusters are inevitable, and cultural collisions on a singular planet are not. There are degrees to which you should trust the science, and degrees to which you should not. Gravitational science has a highly reliable track record. Social science, not so much. Is there a doctor of astronomy in the house? Probably not. But there might be a social worker.
You're much more polite in the South. I was raised by French Canadians. Horrible, horrible people. But same sentiment.
So it's interesting that you say that you were raised by French Canadians. And I mean, does that also...
Do you see the cogs moving?
It's interesting to think that you're raised by French Canadians, yet you still support deporting all illegal.
French Canadians aren't illegals. Illegals are. Legal immigrants are not illegal. Illegal immigrants. It's interesting that you're okay with people visiting each other's houses or moving house, but you're not in favour of trespassing. It's interesting that you enjoy boxing matches, yet you're not in favour of being randomly assaulted in the street. It's interesting that you're in favour of sex, but somehow you're not in favour of rape. It's interesting that you're okay with the law being followed, yet you're not in favour of the law being broken. It's interesting. It's not interesting, is it? It's banal. See, what she's cogitating there, what she finds interesting, is, aha, you just mentioned something about your personal life. Now I don't have to discuss the topic at hand. I can change the subject to the topic of you.
Why is that interesting?
Because you would think that if you're being raised by someone who isn't from this country, maybe you would have a more open mindset.
Well, I think I have a very open mindset.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't want an open border. I think that's what she means by open mindset. You should have a mindset in favour of open borders. And you should never, ever deviate from that mindset. Open mindset means a closed mindset that agrees with me.
I was born in Detroit. My dad's American. My mom is French-Canadian. She now lives in the States. She's very proud, has gone through the process, loves America, speaks the language, pays taxes, contributes. My woman is Latina.
Your woman?
My woman, my lady, my missus.
She belongs to you.
He just said, my dad and my mom. Savannah knows perfectly well that Stephen doesn't think he owns his father or his mother. They are just shorthands for the man who raised me and the woman who raised me. And she knows perfectly well that my woman is a shorthand for the woman with whom I'm presently in a romantic relationship. But she's already way off the beaten track. She doesn't want to talk about illegal immigration. She just wants to insult Stephen. She wants to curl up in her warm, cozy blanket of ad hominem and stay there forever. And this isn't just me talking, ladies and gentlemen. Later in the video, she's going to completely admit it. Stay tuned.
Who would you deport then? Who would you deem acceptable? What's your term as far as, I guess if you disagree with the legal definition of an illegal alien? And then how would we do it?
Unfortunately, you've just asked me like 3 questions.
Okay.
Which one would you like to
Who
answer
should be
first?
deported and how should we do it?
When he talked about his mother, his father, and his woman, she was perfectly capable of laser focusing on one of those things, and only one. But when asked, who should we deport and how, suddenly it's, whoa there, champ, slow down, I've no idea how to handle such a garbled gish gallop. Again, she's only interested in arguing against the man. Ask her to discuss the given topic, and she has no fucking clue what to do.
Let me think. I guess I've never considered who I would deport if I was king of the world. Which people would I get rid of first, I guess?
Pro tip, folks, you should probably stick to discussing subjects that you have ever considered.
If we go way back in history, because obviously if we don't study history, then we're doomed to repeat it.
Sure.
If we're talking about the colonial era and how, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492 and all of those things.
I do know a couple of cliches, by the way, which I can recite off the top of my head, just in case you were under the impression that I am not an intellectual. I clearly am. Let's nip that one in the bud. A stitch in time saves 9. There's another one. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Hey? So, no flies on me, buddy. See the powerhouse you're dealing with? Duck and weave.
My question would be, who can be illegal on stolen land?
Oh, okay. So you're saying that no one is here legally?
Well, no, I'm not saying that no one's here legally. I'm saying how can people be illegal on land that didn't belong to them in the first place?
Because they are the people who don't belong there in the second place. Or the third. The red man wasn't the first to arrive in America, you know. The people they killed are all dead. And the white men didn't genocide the red man. They just built a bunch of houses, and they don't want freeloaders living in the houses they built. Yes? Just like the red man doesn't want the white man living in the wigwams they built. And I think that's a fair compromise.
Who would you deport and how would you do it? And then we can see where we differ.
Unfortunately, I don't think that anyone should be deported unless maybe someone is being extradited back to a country of origin.
Okay.
So saying if someone has committed a crime and maybe the UK...
Okay. Good to know, I guess.
Maybe the UK or something, maybe they... the people who robbed, what's it called, the Louvre, and they stole all the crowns.
Righto. So, in my designs to eventually migrate to the United States, I'll make sure I don't steal all the crowns from the Louvre. I'll just join MS-13 and I'll be fine.
I would say, unfortunately, I don't think that anyone deserves to be reported unless they're being extradited back to their country of origin because they are committing crimes in their country of origin, and they are escaping because they don't want to face imprisonment.
Specifically in the UK. If my government is trying to imprison me for a tweet, you'll be like, GTFO. Thank you for clarifying.
What if they're committing crimes here?
I think that the term that comes to mind is that America is a country, a third world country with a Gucci belt.
Ah, yes, but a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Owned.
So if we have enough funding to, say, maybe deport all of these illegal people, then why don't we have enough money to fix our justice system?
Deporting the illegals requires fixing the justice system. This has proved at least partially possible in the United States and utterly impossible in the United Kingdom. It's one of the many reasons I gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing I ever do. Because, girl, there's a bit... Oh, that'll get dinged.
Yeah, and this is one of the things where people just move the goalposts or present a red herring. I do want to stay on topic. I think we need to fix the justice system as well. But going to this, you see there's a solution for everything. Illegal aliens not only commit crimes, and that's why I brought it up at a much higher rate than native-born citizens, they also cost the taxpayer $150 to $450 billion a year.
Stephen, we can't read the QR code when the subscribe button is covering it up. And she didn't move the goalposts. She doesn't even know what the goalposts are. She's just here to kick the ball in your face. She probably doesn't even know what the ball is. She's just here to kick you in the face.
When your only option is to escape a country, when you're seeking political asylum, it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the entire world to obtain citizenship before you go to the country that you want to be in.
Especially not when it's being run by fuckheads like you who would deport us for that very reason.
Yeah, but why are they entitled to go to any country they want?
Why is anyone entitled to live in it?
Well, all countries, I don't know if you're aware, like they all have borders and they all have laws,
yes,
and becoming a citizen.
I'm aware that
Mexico is
have
far.
borders.
Well, that's why they're not entitled to live anywhere they want. Because of borders. Yes, of course, I know the thing that I'm pretending I don't know.
Actually, we have one of the most lenient policies out there. In Mexico, you can't even own waterfront property.
Well, yeah, in Mexico, that you can't own guns either, and that's where the cartel has a lot of control.
Yes, and there are 3.8 pecks in a bushel. The capital of Kenya is Nairobi. The airspeed velocity of an unladen European swallow is approximately 24 miles an hour, so... burn. See, she's not moving the goalposts. She's just toppling them every time she runs away and crashes into them.
That's a good point.
What I'm saying
it's true.
is,
you disarm the citizens, you end up emboldening the worst of society. And a lot of those people, I'm sure you know this, are invigorated and emboldened by the human trafficking that goes on.
Yes, and I'm sure it's the people from the UK doing all that. Definitely.
Even people coming here seeking a better life, they have to go through coyotes, and a lot of them don't make it here. There are more slaves on Earth. If we go that route of open borders, there are more slaves on Earth now than ever in human history. Did you know that?
well, yes, I did.
Yes, you did know that. But you only want to deport the people of the country that outlawed slavery. Good. Okay.
Yeah, and a big part of them are sex slaves. And they thrive under open borders policies. Sorry, the sun?
It's the sun reflecting off of that car. Sorry, it just got me.
Which damn car? Nice cocky SOB over there. I don't know who's driving it, but...
It's okay.
Look at that thing over there, my God. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I thought that was just a Hollywood trope. She did it for real.
So, yeah, it would be incumbent upon you, because it's not as though there's no net loss if it's $150 to $450 billion a year to the American taxpayer. Make the case to the struggling American right now who's paying taxes out the wazoo, that someone who comes here pays no taxes.
No one should be taxed. It is theft. Yeah, no one should break into a country. It is trespassing. There's a different name for it, but you get what I'm saying.
shares nothing in common with the culture, language, commits crimes, according to your definition here, should still be allowed to stay and be supported by their tax dollars. Make that case, because that actually is, if we're going to come up with a solution, you need to make that case. Those are the people who are voting.
It's very interesting that you've mentioned multiple times about speaking the language. It's almost as if you demean people for not being fluent in English.
Bitch, you demean people for being English.
I'm curious to see are you fluent in the language that your lady spoke?
So I speak French.
Yes.
She speaks Portuguese, Spanish, and English.
Yes.
But she hates it when people are here in this country and don't speak English.
Stephen, mate, she wants you to talk about your personal life so that she can attack you for it. Come on now, get on the ball.
And my mom is French, and she hates it when people here don't speak English, because my mom came here from... Well, it's an irrelevant question. So let's have you answer one question. Just one.
I have.
No, she said she would deport UK citizens if they're fleeing persecution. She would deport actual refugees if they came from the UK. She didn't specify anyone else, not even if they commit crimes in the US. You both seem to have forgotten that exchange, but it did kind of stick in my craw. Just saying.
So let me ask you this. Why should the American taxpayer keep footing the bill for current criminals who are also illegal aliens? Those are the people who are affected.
Well, it's almost as if that you're insinuating that illegal citizens do not pay taxes at all.
It's almost as if he asked you a question, you dopey cunt.
Because you can receive employment here in the United States. There's a little checkbox that you have to put on job applications.
I didn't say that, but go ahead with this trail. I never said that none of them pay taxes.
Well, it's interesting the way that you phrase it, because it's almost insinuating that illegal citizens don't pay taxes.
Is this what happened to So You're Saying? It died when Kathy Newman sledgehammered it into a shallow grave, so now they have to go with, it's almost as if you're insinuating. Sorry, love, even the finest, most delicate silken threads in the land cannot disguise a straw man. I would say you can't polish a turd, but you can. You can freeze it and just put some polish on it, but it's still a turd.
I would say it's interesting the way you interpret it, because what I said is they cost the American taxpayer $150 to $450 billion. Now I could tell you, provide you the reference if you want to take these with you so you don't have to take my word for it, that there's about that's including the 17% offset of taxes that are paid from illegal aliens.
Straightforward statistics. How the fuck is she going to deal with that? How does she turn straightforward statistics into a pretzel of chaos? Stay tuned.
So even including that number, it's $150 to $450 billion. Whether they all pay taxes, or very few of them pay taxes, is irrelevant. It's a net cost. There'd be no way of tracking it.
It's irrelevant.
$150 to $450 billion. Why should Americans pay for it?
Another good question. Another simple question. Let's see how productively she conducts this conversation.
I'm finding that your argument is very circular.
What's a circle? I can't remember what a circle is. Oh, you're drawing it for me. Thank you.
So, realistically, I'm realizing that there is no way to change your mind unless you are willing to break the cycle that is your circular argument.
Right.
She's patronizing us like we don't know what a circle is, but I don't think she knows what a circular argument is. Just a hunch.
So what would break that is about the language that I speak privately with my woman in my house?
Well, I mean, you referenced earlier that I was moving the goalpost.
And you don't know what that means. All you can do is use cliches to try and sound intelligent, and you think that's what everyone else is doing.
I'm a social work major here at the University of Oklahoma.
Of course she is.
Social science is based on understanding where your opinion comes from.
Sure.
And it takes a certain amount of intelligence to understand why you believe what you believe.
See, you can't possibly believe this thing because of it being true. I have already decreed that it is not, and I'm not prepared to discuss it. As a matter of fact, I'm woefully ill-prepared. So it's my job to get to the bottom of how you became so wrong. What happened in your life? Who hurt you? Why are you racist? Why do you hate women? And so on and so forth. And that's what social work is, you see? It's like social justice. Namely, it's not work, it's not justice, it's just socialism. And mindlessly, personally insulting anyone who stands in its way. Okay, good talk.
So why do you think you don't understand it?
Because your argument is very circular.
Okay, explain to me how it's circular.
Because it seems as if you're not willing to... When I said that, it's almost as if that you were insinuating that no one who is an illegal citizen is paying taxes.
Yeah.
You immediately brought up statistics saying, well, there's the 17%.
No.
That's what she thinks a circular argument is. Citing statistics. It's when you use data to effortlessly dismantle their lazy straw man. Well, it's not what she thinks circular argument means. It's just a couple of words that she chants like a magic spell when she doesn't know what else to do. Behold, the majesty of the midwit AIDS pig, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they think intelligence is. They've put all their experience points into their speech stats, and they've left but fuck nothing in their comprehension stats. If I just incantate this series of syllables that I've learned, that will surely bamboozle you and leave you trembling on your knees before my mighty intellect. It's a wild ride watching it happen. It really is. And it would be a lot funnier if these people weren't in charge of fucking everything.
I said because you were mischaracterizing what I said. I never said that. So if you're a social worker, shouldn't you also, let's say someone comes in and needs help. If they say, hey, I have a problem because, I don't know, I'm being recruited for this gang and I'm in a neighborhood, and if I don't, it's going to be dangerous to me. And you go, okay, but what I'm hearing you saying is your entire neighborhood is nothing but a gang. And he goes, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Say what you like about Crowder, man. Bro has the patience of a saint. I cannot fathom how he keeps his cool.
I said the net cost to taxpayers is $150 to $450 billion a year. You said, well, you're insinuating or demeaning people for none of them paying. That's not what I said. And then I gave you a follow-up stat to ensure it wasn't circular logic. I'm aware of the 17% offset.
I'm impressed that he can formulate this stuff just off the cuff, and I'm concerned for his safety. It's the kind of thing that gets a brother shot in the neck.
So it costs the American taxpayer a lot of money, not to mention sanctuary cities and crimes, which disproportionately affects...
I know. I interrupted you there.
That's okay, go ahead.
You've been interrupting me this whole time.
He has not been interrupting her this whole time, at all. But she made a mistake, so now she has to project it. Forever.
So, that's unfortunate. But in the South, we are very polite. What I was going to ask... Oh, I forgot, actually.
I don't think you ever knew, darling. I don't know why the fuck you sat down, other than to insult him.
Well, how is that circular? I corrected what was a straw man. You're social. It's a logical fallacy, a straw man. You built up an argument that I didn't make.
Fucking hell, Stephen. I know you're trying to reason with her, but you must know. All you've done is given her another magic spell. What was it, straw man? Let me write that down. That's genius. Rolls right off the tongue. Next time someone tries to explain per capita, she'll go, straw man. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Sniff my farts. She's Michael Scott. This is why that archetype resonates so much, because it's real. It's all too fucking real.
And when I said, well, that's not the argument I made, you said it was circular logic. I said, no, I'm just clarifying that's not what I said.
It's interesting.
Is that fair?
It is interesting. I'll give you that. Fascinating, actually.
Well, I don't know, but it's interesting.
Is it fair to argue against the point or to present a case against the point that I actually made rather than one you've prepared to make a case against? Because I never said that.
Unfortunately, I think I am done.
The word you're looking for is cooked.
I think so.
It is very hard to have a productive conversation with you
I can imagine.
You continue to interrupt me and speak over me.
There it is. That bad thing I noticed myself doing just now, well, it can't have been me. It must have been you.
And then say that, well, I'm moving the goalpost, and then given no time to maybe have a rebuttal to that.
Take all the time you want.
No, I'm saying I came here with the intention of actually having a productive conversation.
Sure.
I just wanted to know who you were and what you thought, because that's what we do in social work.
Yeah.
We want to understand who you are as a person and what you think about the topic that is most concerning to you.
When you have to make it personal, you only undermine yourself. I have these little razors that I toss up every now and again, and then everyone forgets. That's one I coined last year, I think it was. And there's a reason I phrase it that way. When you have to make it personal, you only undermine yourself. Sometimes it can be expedient to speak anecdotally from your own experience, and sometimes it can be helpful to speak to someone else's personal experience if it, helps guide them into a greater understanding. But if it doesn't work, you should be able to abandon that angle and go back to addressing the point at hand, as divorced from subjectivity as possible. If neither of you ever existed, the issue would remain the same. You need to be able to bear that in mind at all times. But some people can't. They can't go back to the point. They actually have to make it personal over and over again because it's all they can do. It's practically pathological. This young lady has demonstrated with flying colours that she does in fact have to do this because apparently it's what social workers do. They don't address the argument that a person is making, they only address the person. They don't unpack the point, they only unpack you. Any midwit can tell you the magic spell we call this, ad hominem. Any midwit will tell you it's a kind of logical fallacy. But according to Savannah here, that logical fallacy is her profession. It's what her university is teaching her to do, apparently. And I believe her. I have no reason not to. I don't see how anyone could become so entrenched in the black hole vapidity of a simple logical fallacy unless they've been systematically brainwashed into it. On this occasion, brainwashed is the right word, because as you can see, there's nothing in there. She knows how to speak, but she has absolutely no idea how to think. All she can do is insult. She does it with a smiley face and the simulacrum of a polite voice, but it's a flimsy disguise for what is nothing but a lackluster barrage of lazy insults. Let's watch the descent in real time, shall we?
It's just very interesting that whenever I get going on a particular topic, you continue to dominate the conversation. I understand that this is your show and there are cameras who are here for you. I get that. But I wanted to have a productive conversation, and it seems like that you're not actually here for that.
Banana.
May I speak?
No, thank you. So
you've not addressed a single point.
I appreciate you giving me your time.
A single point that I've asked, not one.
I wanted to understand who you are as a person.
Okay, well, this will help you understand.
No, you. Not whatever you believe about this, because that's what we do in social work.
Banana.
I still don't know what it is that you do. Tell me what it is that you do.
In social work.
Yes.
So social work, by definition, we try to work with the person and understand where they are coming from, how they have formed that opinion, and then how we can either agree, disagree, reach commonality.
The commonality being, agree with me. Agree with me or I will insult you and I will demean your personal life. And as a social worker, I will confiscate your children. It's hard enough for me to sit here 4,000 miles away without any children. How the hell Stephen is remaining so stoic is miraculous.
So that's why I was asking you questions about your wife and why you called her your lady and how that was a little possessive. And that's why I got a little offended, because you were interrupting me before I could finish articulating my thought process. I was trying to understand who you are and where you're coming from.
She just keeps saying it. I don't care about reality. I'm not interested in discussing how the world works. I'm just here to ruin your life.
From where you're coming from with this argument, that way we could have a productive conversation. But when you continue to throw stats and you have a very circular argument, it's very hard to understand who you are as a person and achieve a productive conversation.
This is what she means by a productive conversation. She means a destructive conversation. The only subject I can ever focus on is the subject of you and how wrong you are and how you became so wrong and what we're going to do about it.
I can have a conversation with you, but I don't have to agree with you.
Of course.
But it seems very disrespectful when you continue dominating the conversation and I don't get a chance to do what I came here to do.
Okay.
She has spoken uninterrupted for 60 seconds at that point. You could let her speak for 60 minutes and all she will say is, you should let me speak more.
May I present a suggestion? When you say listening to people and finding out where they're coming from, perhaps when you ask questions, listening to the answers and taking an interest in the reasoning, the rationale, the logic behind it, and not misrepresenting what they say, that would help. That would serve you better as a social worker.
No, that would serve her better as a human being. Being a human being is not what social workers do.
Because I don't think you've listened to a lot. Well, what I mean is if you ask me my opinion, and then I answer and you go, that's interesting, that sounds possessive, or that sounds...
Well, yes, I think that to the ordinary person, identifying your lady as my lady would sound possessive. Identifying your lady as my lady would sound possessive.
Your lady. She didn't know what else to call her. She did the same thing Stephen did with the possessive language, but in the second person. She didn't call her the lady with whom you are presently in a romantic relationship. She called her your lady. Without a nanoscopic whisp of self-awareness.
But maybe that's a cultural norm that I'm not accustomed to.
Sure, I'm sure you're not. But is that relevant to the point in the answer? Because you interrupted.
Can we please discuss the topic? Can we please discuss the topic? Can we please discuss the topic? No! I just want to confront you! Yes, I'm sure you do. Oh, you're very confrontational, aren't you? This is something we encounter on the internet an awful lot. Especially in comment sections. They do a thing over and over again, and then they falsely accuse you of doing what they're doing. They spew a negative emotion while they imagine you having that negative emotion. I'd say you know who you are, but you don't. You too think you are a towering intellectual.
It's the little side comments that you sneak in when you're having conversations like this. You're a very sassy individual.
Like
what? It's so mind-boggling when it happens that you have to wonder if you're dealing with a bot or a troll. Surely a sincere human being cannot possibly be as bewilderingly, vacuously hypocritical as that. But, yeah. Exhibit A. These people exist. I'm not saying those bots don't exist or those trolls don't exist. I'm sure they do. But please do come to terms with the ugly truth, folks. Real people are like this. Real people who are sincerely and genuinely being themselves. And they think they're winning an argument. They think they're owning you. There's nothing up there. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Your faith in humanity would have you believe that these people are rare. But your faith in humanity will take its inevitable swan dive into the asphalt when you realize these people are very possibly in the majority. They seem perfectly friendly, perfectly reasonable, perfectly easy to get along with until you broach a subject about which they have not thought critically. A subject they've been superglued to one side of, permanently. And then you will see the genius of the crowd. And their hatred will be perfect. And those who think they're being polite and mature are the rudest, most jaw-droppingly childish people I've ever almost vomited from listening to. And so on and so forth.
I think you paraphrase a lot.
Interesting. Why do you think that?
Because you've done it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you not care to elaborate further? It seems like you enjoy hearing yourself talk. Actually, I think I am done. I tried to leave earlier. I do appreciate talking with you.
Thank you
I
very
just
much,
wish
Savannah.
that we could have had a productive conversation.
Yeah, I do as
All
well.
right. I hope that you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too, Savannah. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Listening helps, Savannah.
I did.
Seems like a skill issue, not going to lie. All right, thanks everybody. Don't hit like, don't hit subscribe, don't hit the notification bell. None of it does anything. The only way to support this channel is to give me money. Links below. Please do. I am broke. When I say this channel, I mean YouTube, of course. If you're watching on Rumble or BitChute, thank you, and God bless you. The rest of you, if you would like my internet presence to grow, please join me on Rumble, etc., where you will not get unsubscribed against your will. If you'd rather just carry on as normal for the sake of the convenience, that's fine too. Do what you like, do what you gotta do all that. Meanwhile, I will make more response videos if you request more videos for me to respond to. But you should probably do it at Rumble or Twitter, because your YouTube comment is highly likely to be auto-deleted. You know YouTube is like this. You know they throttle. You know they shadow ban. You know they have a thumb on every scale. I don't keep saying this so as to complain. I keep saying this because for some reason people keep spontaneously forgetting what they know to be true. Best of luck dealing with whatever that is. I will deal with whatever it is I'm dealing with. Happy, whatever it is, and good night out there, whatever you are.